A few years ago, we invested everything in a non-profit that we called Operation Sea Life. Due to a few medical issues, we had to take a step back. But we are back again with a vengeance and doing it all again from scratch. So we've sold everything, we bought a retired Coast Guard vessel, we got our original seaplane back, and we are dedicated to making this a success. Come along on our journey as we achieve all of our goals of making Operation Sea Life known around the world to protector of our oceans and the sea life therein. I know that together we can make a difference. All right, baby. So you're busy working on our engine, on our $250 van. We got all of our parts in today from O'Reilly's, where we have a great guy that works with us often. So what he's doing is taking off the valve covers, and the reason being...
Well, right now I'm pulling off the rocker arms.
Oh, right now he's pulling off the rocker arms. What we ended up doing was, I don't know if you want to tell him or not, you probably tell it better, because I'm not quite as technically advanced as you are. But when we got the van, he was starting it with ether, and sometimes ether, when you use a little too much, will bend a push rod.
It will cause a backfire. Come out here. So, kind of put the red drape behind it so you guys can see that's supposed to be perfectly straight. I used too much ether. I was trying to figure out if the van had an electrical problem or a fuel problem, and sometimes by doing that you can check it by throwing a little bit of ether or a little bit of gas to it to check and see if it'll bust off. And if it tries to start with gas, you know it's a gas problem. If it doesn't, you know it's most likely an electrical problem. So anyway, I got it started and it ran great at first, and I was like, oh yay. But what happened was I decided I was going to keep starting on it. Maybe the fuel would build up enough and get it going. I didn't know if it had an electronic fuel pump or a manual one in there, and I thought, well, if it's a manual one, I just keep bumping it with a little bit of ether and maybe it'll start up and start fueling itself. Well, come to find out it was electric fuel pump. And also, when you're messing with gasoline engines, which I don't do much anymore, when I was a young kid I did. I was always told not to use a lot of ether. Well, this is what happens when you use a lot of ether. Most likely, if you got one push rod bent, you're going to have two, because it's usually on the compression stroke on vice and versa of two cylinders. So, I fixed one of these. I just bent it with my hammer, straightened it up, kind of fixed the problem. But it still had a little bit of a tick and a miss to it. So I told my wife, I said, I think on the other valve cover, we're going to find another bent push rod. Sure enough, we did. So we are going to get after this van. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but let me hold the camera for 1 second. We did paint the roof of the van. Now, no, we did not spray it. No, we did not do a whole lot of sanding. I took a wire wheel to this thing, and I got up there and I wire wheeled the whole van. And I wiped it down with acetone, made sure there was no grease or anything like that, and I painted it. Now I'm going to show you guys the before and after of this dad blasted thing. It was bad. I mean, all along through here it was rusty. You could not believe. I mean, it just looked like it had been sitting for 5 years in the sun and just rusting away. So we were able to get that knocked out. We got that done. We also got I went in and I put some carpet that I had here at the hangar, some 3M carpet. It's red, it's shaggy kind of. We still got to put the Velcro and stuff under it, and we put Kills mat underneath it to kind of, everybody knows these old cargo vans, they sound like a bass drum inside. So as you can see, this is how far we got with it. Everything's kind of set aside. You can see we've been working on the engine and stuff. Mountain Dew bottles everywhere, because you know you got to be jacked up on Mountain Dew if you're going to be a mechanic.
Chip, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Like a spider monkey. Anyway, so we're going to finish up. We are going to sand the rest of this van. We're going to sand it, and I am going to spray it out. This is just being used Tractor Supply paint. I will not tell you anything different. I guarantee Tractor Supply paint, at least the black and the white, is some of the toughest paint I've ever used on a vehicle. I've painted 2 vehicles, several truck beds. They've lasted me for years. Trailers. I mean, and it's heavy duty. It works out good. You can try to skin it if you want to. It's like an armor coat. I like it just as good as I do a bed liner stuff.
Oh yeah, that's $35 a gallon.
It's like $35, $36 and well, a little more with tax. But anyway, for a gallon of paint, you can buy their little $11.99 stuff to cut it to where you can actually. It's a catalyst, and it also cuts the paint so you can spray it. That stuff is awesome. We're going to paint the rest of the van. We're not fixing any dents, so you're going to see little dings and dents. This van I paid $250 for. I am not trying to get all fancy with paying a bunch of money to fix things. When I'm done with this van, if I've got over $800 in it, I'm going to be upset. I like to buy things cheap because you know how the economy is. It's very unforgiving. I don't like to have truck payments, car payments. I'm just a good old boy, just like my wife. She's a good old girl. And we're just going to get together. We're going to get this van knocked out. I want you guys to stay tuned as we get this stuff put together. We get this thing all set up. And we're going to start it for you tonight, hopefully. Now, this is the build number 3.
3 or 4 day, yeah. I don't know.
Build number 3, build day number 3 or number 4, or just getting into number 4. So we have been working day and night. We really have. Of course, we don't have all the tools in the fab shops that Jesse James has or any of these other build guys.
No,
and we don't have 6 guys on the board working on this. This is just me and my lovely wife. We just get out here. We try to knock this thing out and try to make it what we can. But stay tuned and get ready for the Oregon trip. We're going to Oregon, pick up our airplane.
Hey guys, all right. Looks like Jack's got the van going. He's got it running. So exciting. Listen to that engine. Sounds nice and smooth. No knocking, no tapping, no shaking crazily. Now, we didn't get the clutch fan on yet, or the pulley, and of course the alternator and the starter will be here on Monday. So those will get on another day. Probably going to hit the sack here before we go to sleep, or hit the sack before we finish all the rest of the stuff out. Or who knows, maybe he'll go ahead and decide that he wants to go ahead and get it finished tonight. Excuse my appearance, been working for days. I know I look a mess, but it is what it is, and I'm kind of done putting on airs. But let me go ahead and let you know, if you like this video, please hit that like button. It makes a huge difference for us. Hit subscribe. Check out our Patreon page, our website, which I'll have all that stuff in the links below. And if you like what we're doing, share it on Facebook, because the more people we can get involved with Operation Sea Life, the better it's going to do. We need to go ahead and get people on board with what we're doing here. That's the way that it's going to make a difference, and we're going to be able to save our oceans. I know this van doesn't have anything to do with ocean, but it does have to do with going to get that seaplane so we can get it home, get that fuselage done, get out on the water here in Mississippi. I will go ahead and talk to you next time. Have a good night.